My name is Shayla. I came to Living Waters because I've had digestive issues for a lot of years, and I couldn't find any solution to my problems that was a lasting solution. Everything seemed to be really short term, and any relief that I would find would come back, and then in such case it would be twice as bad because I knew what it was like to feel good, but it would only be for a short amount of time. Nothing was really lasting.
My name's Marissa, and I've had the same problems, digestive issues, and then it led to other. Well, I started getting like acne and rashes and bumps all over my face when I was in like 5th grade, and then it led into high school, and then that's when it started like going on my arms and my back. And
so kind of like an eczema or psoriasis then?
Yeah, but it was still kind of like acne, but it wasn't like really big bumpy acne. It was just like weird little bumps.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but and then I'm 20 now, and I haven't had a natural period ever, maybe once or twice. And then
in all those years?
Yeah.
Once or twice?
Yeah.
Wow. And what did the doctors say?
Well, that's how this all kind of happened.
Okay.
Is because we were both having hormonal issues, obviously. I didn't start my period until I was at least 17. And at that point, I only had it once every 6 months if I was lucky. And then it kind of just diminished. But she's 4 years younger than I, and a couple years after, a doctor started to give me this classification called PCOS. Basically said I couldn't have kids, and took my cluster of symptoms, put them together, and was like, didn't have a cure, but they treated me for like diabetes and weight loss, and they gave me specific strict diets to eat, and hormonal pills. They put me on progesterone at one point. They put me on metformin for the diabetes at another point. Just the gamut of things that are clustered into that PCOS title. And a couple years later, her and I have different dads, and a couple years later she started to have similar symptoms, not starting her period, and then acne, and like I had the weight gain and hair loss and just weird stuff. And they tried to say that she kind of had a similar deal going on. And so at that point my mom was like, okay, here's my 2 daughters, you know, my family doesn't have any like history of any of this, but these 2 both have similar symptoms and different dads. It just seems weird. So we thought, okay, well, there's got to be some kind of a common denominator here. And so we went on basically like a 7-year journey of finding what that common denominator was. And every doctor had a different, you know, path to throw us down. And we've done everything from, you know, we've done live blood analysis. We've spent thousands and thousands, and when I say thousands, I mean thousands of dollars on medications for candida, for parasites, liver cleanses, body cleanses, different kinds of cleanses, pill form, you know, everything really mild that never did enough or could do enough potentially because of the digestive issues we had going on. So
yeah, your mom said yesterday she thought over $90,000 that she spent over the period of time.
I would agree.
Easily,
yeah, easily. Yeah.
So now you've got to be kind of like, geez, 7 years plus, and no answers, and nothing's working, and you're getting all this stuff, and in some cases, I know you shared with me, it made you feel worse.
Oh yeah, we got to the point where we couldn't even sit down and have a dinner together because it was like, well, maybe it's this, well, maybe it's that.
How's your hair? How's your
let me
nails?
See your hair, let me see your nails, exactly.
Yeah, it was constantly about
how are you
my
feeling?
mom.
Have you pooped today? Have you pooped yesterday? You know,
What your poop look like?
Yeah, we're having dinner. Like we couldn't do anything functional as a family anymore that didn't revolve around our health. Like our normal life was diminished. Like we had nothing, and different points in time, all of us were just extremely depressed, you know, and just felt like that was our fate.
Right.
And for me, I got to a point like when I had a 4.0 in high school, and they gave me metformin for diabetes, and I was so sick every day. I was like, at one point when they did the progesterone, I was waking up with morning sickness. I'm like 16 years old with morning sickness. I'm like throwing up in the toilet every morning before school because they put me on some medication.
Wow.
And then I was on metformin to do my blood sugar levels, and it made me nauseous, and I think I took it on an empty stomach, and it was just chalky, and it made me nauseous every time I took it. Probably because I didn't need it. So,
right.
Yeah, so then by the time I got to college, my grades and my ability to do life in general, but specifically school, had like just gone down bad, and I was not doing good in school anymore. I couldn't get out of bed till 4 or 5 in the afternoon to go to school. I mean, I was skipping classes. I couldn't get out of bed. It was just awful. And then even once I did make it to class, then I had no energy to do any homework. It was just like right back to bed. I was like living dead. You know what I mean? And then I met a naturopath that referred me to a lady who did closed colonics on a closed system. And I did those for a while. And that's when I started to get, in hindsight, significantly better. She taught me a lot about like the second brain and your gut and just the different ties with that. And then from there, I did probably 6 or 7 colonics with her. They're extremely painful and completely different than this, but
the ones at Living Waters, you mean the open system?
Yeah, those ones for sure. The ones at Living Waters are significantly like better in so many ways, but it was what I had at the time, so I made best with it. But so did that, and I learned a little bit, and then actually right before I saw her, I'd come in here. Just didn't have the means to do it yet. And in hindsight, if we could have done anything, taken out a loan, whatever, we would have done it, because it would have saved us just that much more time of bad health to have to go back and like fix,
Right.
And all the money we spent over the years. But when you think about spending $90,000, you're like, oh, that was nothing. We could have just done that. You know what I mean? And just skipped all that. But anyway, so then we had a contaminated well. We had like a $7,000 system put on my mom's house to make sure that there was nothing coming in the house that was contaminated. We were just fixing anything and everything we could.
And that's when is that when the water got tested at your home? Is that when the discovery got made?
We tested the water shortly after Marissa started to have problems, because we're like, okay, there's 2 of us, like, what's in common? Well, it must be the water. Maybe it's the water. So then we started testing the water, and we were testing what we, changing what we ate, and we never ate real poorly, I would say. Like, we didn't eat out a lot or fast food a lot growing up. I think we just weren't really well educated as far as
boxed foods and like dairy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dairy, a lot of steak, like a lot of heavy food. And then you add, maybe the E. coli that was in the water that's like already diminishing your immune system and slowing down your gut, and like your body's fighting that. It's taking away from, what you have to. We got over-toxified.
Right. So that's when they found you had E. coli in the water. Mm-hmm. And then is that when the water system you got put on after that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like we didn't live in the house for a couple weeks or a month or so while they were
testing
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mom was just like, all right, this has to stop. Like, she finally had it
with the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we kind of thought, oh, we'll move back in the house, we won't have E. coli anymore, we're all just going to get better. Well, I think we're just at that point, we're all just so far gone, and we didn't have a way to cleanse our body. We didn't know how to get rid of the damage that had been done.
Right.
And so...
despite the fact that you were taking supplements that cleanse the body, supposedly, and kill the parasites, supposedly. Right. Yeah.
Tons of multivitamins and stuff that our body just wasn't...
That we were getting.
And then there was, one of you had constipation as well as part of the symptoms.
Yeah,
both of us.
Well, both of us. We're the 2 that have constipation mainly. It's us. But
since I was probably like 7 or so, they had me drinking Miralax in my grape juice every day.
Wow.
Every
7
single day.
It's nuts.
And they were just like, it's fine. Like, they didn't do anything. They didn't really have anything to say. They were just like,
just drink this.
Yeah, they were like, drink it. And I was like, okay. But why?
I had, I went 40 days one time, and they had me drink Go Lightly in a jug, and it was probably every bit as painful as childbirth, because when you don't go for 40 days and you drink a jug of Go Lightly, and your body's, you're contracting, it makes your colon contract. It was bad. It was really bad.
Did you go?
No, not for like 5 or 6 hours. I had to go to the emergency room because I couldn't go, even after drinking Go Lightly.
And what did the emergency room do for you?
Told me to go home and take an enema. I went there 5 times that time that I didn't go for 40 days. But I went almost 30 days. I did go 30 days, but I went almost 30 days a couple times without going. And then...
To me, that's amazing.
Then they gave me a colonoscopy. And then they told me to drink Miralax every day. And I had IBS, which, it's a joke, but it's,
So, how did they even do a colonoscopy when you haven't? I mean, you're constipated.
Well, eventually, it was just like water, and that's the thing. When they did it, I was like, okay, so was there a bunch of stuff in there? Because I haven't gone to the bathroom for 40 days.
Right.
And Thanksgiving was during that 40 days. Like, no joke. Anyway, so they were like, no, there isn't.
Now hold on. Okay, you haven't gone in 30 days, and you take the stuff, which they have you take prior to colonoscopy.
And then eventually.
And then you go in and they put the scope up, and they find, and you haven't gone.
Well, at this point, like, because they wouldn't do it at first.
Okay.
So they gave me the enema. They told me to do the enema. Well, the enema kind of like triggered like water to come out. So it comes out in like water form.
Okay.
There's like no feces. It's
no
just water.
Wow.
A little bit tinged with color, okay? But then you gotta think, probably most of it's in my small intestine. So like,
yeah.
So if they can't do an endoscopy and they can't do a colonoscopy and there's this whole chunk in the middle of it, like, what are you gonna do about it?
And they had nothing. They said
no. They had nothing to say. They just gave
said,
me packets of Miralax and sent me home after a colonoscopy. It was
wow.
I paid medical bills for so many years after that, and it just.
And well, a colonoscopy's not cheap.
No, and I was in college. I had like crappy insurance.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It was awful.
So you stumbled in here. I don't know if you stumbled in, but how'd you find us again? So you just remembered? Or?
Oh, well, I used to drive past here a lot, and we have over the years. And so it's been, I would say, close to 7 years since we walked in here the first time.
Okay.
And my mom came and picked me up, and I was having a really bad day. I was just my health had gotten a little bit better at one point, and then it just was starting to go downhill again, and I was really struggling with that. And she picked me up, and it was on probably one of the worst days that I'd had in a long time. And she's like, all right, let's go somewhere and let's like look for something else. I'm like, okay, let's do that.
Just drive around, huh?
Yeah, we got in the car and we have bad habits, that we've picked up over the years from being unhealthy, and we were just like, I don't know. We're just driving around, basically. And she said, where do you want to go? And I said, you remember that place we went to when I was young, like on Curtis? I think it's Living Waters or the Herb Pantry, because the Herb Pantry used to be here. And she said, yeah. I said, let's go there. I mean, we're in Eagle. We're like in Meridian. I'm like, let's go there. So we just get on Franklin, and we just like nice and easy, casually come down. We walk in, and you can attest, I was grumpy, like so grumpy. I was like, not open to anything at this point because we had tried so much stuff and it just didn't work. And I was so discouraged. And you started to show me things, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard it. Oh yeah, don't give me the gamut, David. But then I did. I was like, don't even give me the rundown. And then by the end of it, I was still standing there with my arms crossed. You're like, all right, you want to do a colonic or what? I'm like, yeah. And you're like, well, do you want one or do you want 3? I'm like, well, of course I want as many as I can, but I said, all right, I think I had $350 in my bank account. My mom said, you're getting 3. I was like, okay. So I did 3, and I did the first one that day, and right away I had some good stuff coming out. And so I told my sister about it, and she came the next day and did one. And then she proceeded to do 3. Mm-hmm. And we both walked away after 3 and said, we need to do 10.
Like, yeah. Recruit the
It's
family.
happening. We're making recruitments.
Yeah. We're like bragging my little brother, hey, if you do this.
Yeah, we were. Like, how do you get a teenage boy to do this? But, you just do. And then once you do it, you don't regret it,
And he's changed completely throughout this.
Oh my gosh. Well, we all have. Yeah. It's been incredible. Like, our family will never be the same. Really, when you get 4 people from one family to come in and do it. I said, if it had just been me and not her, or me and not my mom and my brother, and I came in and did it, I could go home and try to explain all this stuff and be like, oh, but really you can't. Like, you have to experience it. And then now the whole model for how we talk about our health and how we fight, like, things that are going wrong and whatnot as a family is so different, because even emotionally and just like as far as our energies go and spiritually and stuff, we're all on a totally different level now. So it's like we could try to explain it to other people, but it's like, no, really, you just got to go experience it, because you can't get. It's like looking at things through totally different glasses, like new glasses. It's cool.
The world looks different, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Way more positive. Like, we can sit down and have dinner together, and we were just like,
we did.
Hey, we're going to do liver cleanses for the rest of our lives. This is fine. Like,
yeah. Like, you feel like you have the tools. You know what I mean? You feel like you actually have the tools.
we're prepared.
It's got to be a huge relief to know that.
Oh
my gosh, this is what we're going to do.
We all sat down and had lunch yesterday, and we talked, and we're like, actually visited about life, and we're like, oh my God, do you realize what we just did? We just had like a lunch. It didn't involve like a meeting about our next health endeavor. Like, it was really, it saved us emotionally as a family. It really did, because we were getting to that point where it was just like we were driving each other crazy.
Yeah. Before I came in here, I was like trying to come to terms with all of my health problems. I was like, I love them. This is who I am. It's fine. You know, I'm just going to deal with it, and I'm going to like block my mom out a little bit because she's stressing me out. Like, she's calling me every day, and like, you know, I'm trying to go to school and focus on that, but when I came in here, I was finally like, hey, we can do this. We can tackle this.
And now you can go to school and do, way better. It's really awesome. It has. Seriously, there's no words for it.
You gotta try it.
You gotta do it. Get that 10-day cleanse business going.
So you mentioned, you know, things have changed emotionally and spiritually for you as you went through this. So just what are some of the tools that you learned here that you were able to take back, and what were some of the aha moments that you had?
Well, okay. Before I came in here, I was pretty depressed and pretty negative person. I would tell myself, you know, like, this is what life was, and I felt very aimless. I had no direction. But then I came in here, and I feel like I learned, I don't know, a lot of tools that have made me pick my spirits back up. Like, I tap pretty much every day now. I just sit there and, like, any problem I have, I'm just like, it's okay, I cut my hair short, but I still love myself. I was doing that while my mom was cutting my hair off, you know. It's okay, I love myself. You know, and it makes me feel better immediately.
Yeah.
Even cutting our hair, we were like, okay, so when we do this, like, regret is a bad vibration. It's a low place.
Yeah.
There will be no regrets in this family. Like, we're going to be happy about this.
You come to peace with everything.
Yep, we are coming to peace with it. We're going to cut it, and we're going to love it. And we do. So, and that's cool. But yeah, you know. But I did, like, for me, a lot, like, the oxytocin release, like, the deep breathing, a lot was really good for me. It's like the rewiring. And then just the ability to be self-aware or conscious enough of your subconscious to, like, change those thoughts that you didn't even realize you had before, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then having kids, you realize, like, how much you affect them. Not that I have kids, but, like, other kids I'm around.
You have a family kid?
Yeah, we have one kid in the family, but people that I'm around, you know, I'm more aware of what I'm saying to them, because, like, even if they don't think it affects them, I know that it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it affects every aspect of life, like learning everything that I learned here. It's not just about my health. It's mostly about how I go about every day and every situation. Like, I'm going to think about everything I learned here, and it just changes, like, who I am completely. It's not just like, oh, well, I feel better, my skin's clearing up, you know, I'm going to have a period, and I'm going to poop every day. Yeah. It's not just that.
Those aren't even like those are like not even a cake anymore.
Those are like 5
like
down.
A cherry on top.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, no, it really is. It changes the way you view everything.
Mm-hmm. It's being able to deal with those problems that makes me, like, happy that I came here. Because before, I couldn't deal with them anymore. You know, I was just so...
Well, you're just so exhausted, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you just
I was.
No hope. You have no hope.
Seriously, my mom would ask me a question, and I would, like, get up and leave, and I would roll my eyes at her. I was just a little brat because I was tired of dealing with it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think
she's looking for answers because she's concerned.
She is.
Yeah.
And you have no answers.
Exactly.
And she's trying to be the detective. And
so,
getting more and more discouraged every time, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's nice to not be discouraged anymore.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool to poop, right?
It's so cool.
Amazing.
Hey, coming from a gal that went 40 days, it's really cool to poop.
Hey, well, one thing I want to bring up, though, so you had told you'd never had children.
Yeah, they told me I couldn't have
So, and one of the things you shared with me, after just those 6 colonics that you did, way back when.
Oh yeah, I got pregnant.
You got pregnant.
I did. Yeah, it was kind of a big turning point. What's funny is,
there was a signal there, but it just didn't quite.
Exactly.
You guys are still so.
I did the 6 or 7 colonics with the first lady, and then a couple months later I was pregnant, and then as soon as I got pregnant, so you go to the doctor because other than pregnancy, I don't go to a regular doctor, but for pregnancy I did. So I show up and they're like, "Oh, we see here in your file that you didn't poop for 40 days." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that happened one time or a couple."
Yeah.
But and they're like, "We suggest you take Miralax every day while you're pregnant." That's the kicker. And I'm like, "Really?" And I did to some degree take it because I was so afraid to become constipated on top of having this baby. Like I'm like, I don't know where it's gonna go if
right.
But in hindsight, gosh, if I could do it all over again, it's like, can you imagine the poisons my kid was getting while I'm just throwing Miralax at it,
Right.
And people don't realize at all. I mean, even being pregnant and then after, just there's so much stuff with just, autism and just a lot of these ADD and things that are just progressively happening with kids that I feel like mothers, like, as a whole should be way more aware about what their body is doing before they're just having kids, because these kids are just getting so much toxic stuff before they're even here to get it, and then once they get here it's way worse, you know what I mean? So it's really unfortunate that doctors are just educated in the wrong areas, for lack of a better term or phrase. So
yeah. Wow. Well, I can just say from an observer standpoint, and I wasn't your colon hydrotherapist or your caregiver was doing this, but just watching you from the way back from here to there, it's like, I don't know, it's like a new painting. It's
night and day.
It is huge.
We're like ready to take on some serious
you mean
stuff.
When you're talking and you're just amazing.
It is good. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We want to thank Living Waters for giving us our life back.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It's nice. It's really nice.
Thanks for saying that.
Mm-hmm. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone here.
Mm-hmm. The staff team. We love them all. We're gonna send them cards for Christmas and.
Yeah, I feel like we made like a little
second family.
Here.
This is like I feel like we have like a second family. Like we're part of this like elite group of people who understand life on a different level.
Yeah, that's one thing. I would wake up every single morning, like before I came here, and I would be sleeping until mid-afternoon because I was so just like exhausted, not doing anything, but I was so tired. And then coming here, I come here at 8 or 9 every day, and I was like, after the first day, I was kind of like, I have to get up at 8 and go here. Like, after the first day though, I was like up, taking all my medicine, and I was like singing in the car on the way to Living Waters, just like, yeah, I'm ready to go. It's 8 a.m. And I was so happy, right away,
Yeah.
I could tell changes. Just, like the energy here is infectious. It carries out throughout the day. I'm just like, happy.
I know. I feel like if I could just come here every morning.
Once a day, I just
but we're
wanna,
making this energy here for ourselves too. That's the cool
Yeah.
part. Like our homes will have this energy, and it's nice. Yeah, it's really cool for even our kids and just for generations to come. It's cool. You change. You change. It's like a turning point for your family tree. You might as well just add like another tree over here because everybody back there, they're like, oh, that tree's like wilted. This one's great.
We're planting a new seed.
We are.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that is the gift. I think, and definitely you are in a very, we call everyone that does a cleanse cousins.
Yeah.
Oh,
you are
that's
part
cool.
of it. You're cleansing cousins.
This is my family, not the other people.
Right?
Just kidding.
That's awesome.
What's your
everybody that you see every single day of your life, every time you come in contact with somebody, like I feel like we're living, breathing like flowers versus like a dead weed. It's like
right?
you're gonna touch people in so many ways. Even if you don't convince 144,000 people to go do a cleanse,
right?
That's impossible. But you're gonna change the vibration and the energy that you put on everybody that you see most of the time, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be that kind of person. Doesn't everybody want to be that person that's like
Uplifting
to other people instead of being like the Debbie Downer that's like, oh, I'm miserable, my life sucks because my health is so terrible that I can't look at it any other way. Nobody wants to be like that. It's a sad place to live, you know.
And a lot of people are like that, and I feel extremely blessed and stuff that we had a mom that really was just like,
The push.
I don't think this is what life is. Hold up, you're not really supposed to have these problems. Other parents are just like,
oh, it's
this
just
is who you
acne.
are,
Oh,
it's
you just
genes.
gained weight. Like one time I had like no hair. Practically all my bangs fell out. I had like a sixth of the hair I had in like a matter of months. It just disappeared. But if you saw pictures of me, then you would not even think I was the same person.
Yeah. And your mom has definitely been a great, like the Columbo, the great Columbo.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And I'm excited for her to have some release. You know what I mean? Like, like the weight. I mean, I can't imagine. We feel like there's a huge weight off our shoulders. I can't even imagine how she feels.
She had it times 4.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Herself and your brother and
then she's being sick for herself too. You know, it's just like, and then it's adding to her sickness because she's bearing so much of that terrible energy all the time.
Yeah. And your brother really grabbed hold and...
Oh, for a young guy.
And he says, I'm buying those vitamins myself. I'm getting on them right now.
yeah.
I get it. So
and he was all stoked. They came in the mail yesterday, right? Yeah, he was like, got it out on the counter and everything. It was really
Super jealous.
Yeah, we're all like eyeballing him. We're like,
his vitamins will be gone tonight.
We're all like hoarding them. Does anybody see my vitamins?
No.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You bet.